and welcome back to the Cozy Arts channel. I'm Cherish. This is our last Saturday in May, and that means this is our last video that's focused on multiple chemical sensitivity for now. And next week we will get back into regularly scheduled craft programming, and I am so excited for you to see this craft that I have been working on for months. Big things are coming next week, and today we're talking about multiple chemical sensitivity one more time, and one more time we're talking about things that have changed my life for the better in the last year. Now, to kick it off, I'm gonna just briefly eat a little bit of crow. Not really. I'm just a brief addendum to a past video. Last year I got this new mask, you can't even see it, this new half mask respirator, and my verdict of it was like, oh, this probably won't change my life because like it doesn't stop coffee. Like what can I do with this? And the update, still can't stop coffee. There are smells that this respirator cannot do. That, oh, come here, big guy, that I still have to use. It's like big, kind of broken respirator. Yeah, fun fact, went to go use this for the first time and, oh, it's broken. Anyway, so I have been using this almost like as my primary mask for the last year. Of course, that's not doing anything big. That is small trips, like car trips to parks and stuff. It works really well in the car, and the bigger respirator, like because it's so bulky, sometimes I feel like it slides off and then breaks the seal just because it's so bulky, where this like, it fits my face a little better. It's so much more comfortable. So much more comfortable. And it really helps keep my anxiety down. So it sort of evens out. It doesn't work as well, but because it keeps my anxiety down, it keeps my adrenaline down. So what comes through is usually a little more tolerable because I have lower anxiety levels at that moment in time, because I am not in full fight or flight mode. I'm kind of able just to deal with it or make my escape. And then, so I was getting ready to make a big video of, oh, okay, it did kind of change my life. I mean, we did some trial runs, took it to Target. It's still, I can't do Target because there's a lot of aisles that I can't handle, but some aisles I can handle. This was kind of helpful, but it's still like, Target still can't be something that's in my general life. It's just like, okay, if I need to go get a booster shot and I stay away from the bad aisles and avoid the Starbucks, then this mask can get me through Target. So that's exciting because, as I said, like I feel really anxious. Like many years ago, I tried going to Target wearing the big respirator. And then I heard like the Target employees like whispering about me. Like they didn't know I was near them, but like, yeah, it's unusual. The other thing that's really helpful these days is that people are used to seeing masks. And this sort of flies under the radar of like, oh, that's not quite what we're used to seeing, but it's close enough that maybe I'm not noticing it enough to notice that it's weird. Whereas the respirator still triggers those, that's unusual and I don't know what's happening and I don't think I like it alarms. So this is really helpful for kind of just blending in. And not quite up to Target. We also tried to go to Joann's, and that was a very bad idea. There is no safe place in Joann's. The whole place reeks and was bad. It was very bad. So can't let me go to Joann's. That's okay, because like it has been so long since I've like gone out into the world. I mean, it's been a decade of me officially not working, not really leaving the house unless it's something that I have to do. So not going, like I've been to Target 3 or 4 times in the last 10 years. And Joanne's just that once, and that was a no. So like if I go to Joanne's, it's easier for me to send my partner because honestly, he knows the store better than I do now because I haven't been there in 10 years and everything is different and overwhelming. And like I can find it online. Cannot find it in the store. So life semi-changed. About to make a video, eating crow. Oh yes, this mask really did change my life, but then I even changed the filters to make sure that, you know, we were good to go for another year. I don't use it that often. And then this month has been awful in terms of school events. Like, all I want to do is stay home and stay away from people, and all the school wants to do is have these big events that you have to go to, otherwise your kid is looking around and not seeing you and being sad about it. So yeah, we had a Cinco de Mayo event. I think I have some footage of me in the aftermath of that. And today, like immediately was not enough. Like I couldn't get a good seal. Even when I like just shoved it against my face, like that's one of the reasons why even after like walking home and taking a shower and not wearing the mask for a bit, like you can clearly see that oh, that hurts. I shoved it into my face like for an hour, just trying to breathe, and like covering the filters with my hands, trying to give it a little extra protection. It just wasn't enough today. But the seal was not working and everything was awful and I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't know if I like just left and came back when it was actually time for my child's thing to happen, if they would even let me. So like panicking, can't breathe, everything's bad. But I did have in my bag some cloth wipes because I had when I'm just like walking around the neighborhood outside, usually I can get away with just wearing a cloth mask with like a little bit of extra layers inside. So I had a cloth mask that had a couple of like cloth wipes. I had a cloth mask with some cloth wipes in it, and I just stuck the cloth wipes in here and just like pushed it up against my face and like breathed through my fingers the whole time. And we made it through, but it was bad. It was really bad. But the cloth wipes helped enough that afterwards, I took some felt. This is, I think, 2 sheets of just craft felt, and I folded it up and I just whip stitched it together. Very badly hand sewn because it doesn't matter. So this is just felt that I stitched together so that I could put it on the outside and give myself another layer. And unfortunately, we had so many family things to this year. There were so many school events this year. There's so many school events this month that I had to go to. And for 2 of them, I couldn't find this. I had no idea where it went. So I had to wear this. And yeah, that was me discovering, like, as I'm walking into this school and trying to put on my mask, that it's fully just falling apart. Oh my God, this mask is so uncomfortable. So, like, those 2 events that I had to wear this mask for, they weren't super long. It was like, I think less than an hour. But like, cause it was just, the mask was starting to give out at the end of that. But I came out of it and like my nose hurt so much because this mask is just so uncomfortable. It works really well, but it draws a lot of attention. It's so uncomfortable. So yeah, like I'm glad that I have this one. I need it. I don't know what I can do to fix this so that it will stay on better. If I get a new mask, that just means I have to de-smell another mask. So I'm not like opposed to seeking out new masks. I just, you know, they're always really expensive and like 99 out of 100 times, they don't work that well for me. So it's a lot of money on something that doesn't work. So it's like, I go through phases where I'm sick of throwing money at masks to bother, and then where I'm like so hopeful, like, well, but maybe this will be the one and my life will change. And then I, do some mask buying. But anyway, verdict on this guy, ouch, so uncomfortable. So then we had one more event, and this one was gonna be a doozy. This one was not at school. It's school related, but not at school. So that means that we had like a considerable drive to and from the event. And I have to wear a mask in the car because our old car died and my partner went car shopping without me, and he doesn't have a sense of smell, and he bought a car that was so smelly, and even like many years later, not quite de-smelled. Still a little stinky. So I've got to wear the mask in the car, and then the event was one of those things where like there was lots of like fanfare and stuff to stretch it out. So it was maybe 2.5, 3 hours in this mask with the new thing. Still not perfect, still like a little bit of stuff getting through, but also much more comfortable, much more comfortable. I managed to not really, like, it wasn't too sweaty of a day, so I managed to not really break the seal, or not break the seal much. So that's good. Like, if it's really sweaty, it just kind of slides off. It doesn't work. And yeah, like it blends in. People weren't staring at me too much about it, so that's good. And also, when you're in crowds, these days you're not usually the only one in a mask, and that's awesome. More masks. I mean, especially if you're feeling like you're a little bit sick and you can't stay home, mask up. Yeah. So that's, yeah. The new layers, that was like my first real trial, was the event the other day. And the new layers held up really well. I mean, I probably should have chosen a darker color so that it would blend in with my mask. But I had a bunch of white sheets close to hand, so that's what we did. So, did this mask change my life? A little bit, yeah. Yeah, happy with it. Oh, right, that was the other thing, is I noticed once I got home from when this was broken and everything was awful, that when I changed the filters, there was like one spot where it didn't quite go in the exact right spot, and I think that was the source, or at least the primary source of my problems, is that it wasn't able to do its job and filter things. So that, plus the fact that it's just not as good, meant, ugh, it was bad. But yeah, get the filters in the right spot, put in correctly, and then give it just that little extra filtration, that little extra help. Very nice. And the other thing that has changed, or at least, yeah, the other thing that we have done this year is I made a giant guest poncho. Now this is very warm, this is very warm. This is very good for cold weather. What I did is I took like a yard and a bit of fabric and sewed it to another yard and a bit of fabric. So in the middle, we've got just like a giant poncho, and then in the middle of that, I cut out a neck hole using using a hoodie pattern. I cut the neck hole out and I added a hood. Can I put this on? So we have a giant guest poncho, and my kid has a friend who lives nearby, and they don't have a fragrance-free house. And when they want to play in the house, sometimes it's a lot. And there was a time where like it filled the entire floor and then some of wherever they were in the house. So like my rule was you gotta play in the basement or you can't be in the house. And then I made this poncho and the rule was you get to choose play in the basement or wear the poncho. And they wore the poncho and it helped so much. This is just like a blizzard fleece. So it's not really a breathable fabric, so it just traps stuff. And then once this gets worn by a guest, just chuck it in the wash. I need to make more than one, but right now we just have the one. And it's nice and long. I was thinking, for a long time I was thinking, well, should we just get like a bunch of onesies? But then it's like, well, then we have to get so many different sizes. So this was kind of an experiment and it really worked. And like, it's pretty size inclusive. I think that I need to make more just because my partner's got some pretty small family. And then this is like really long. It's touching my feet when I have my arms outstretched, and then it just puddles on the floor when I drop my arms. So the hoodie, the giant hooded poncho, excellent. I would like to make a summer version, but I'm having a hard time thinking of a good summer fabric that would be less hot but still trap the smells, which it might not be possible. But we do have we do have another plan, especially in the summer months. So I haven't really been able to spend much time with my BFF over the last 10 years because, you know, life do be busy, but also friends do be smelly. Like, yeah, if you're not keeping your home fragrance free, then even making like day of effort, it's just not enough. So like we can, you know, stand outside far apart and shout to each other, but it's not the same. So what I did as an experiment is I just said, hey, just send me some links to like an outfit, and we'll buy it and we will wash it and we'll keep it here. And when you come over to visit, you can shower and use our products and shower or bathe, it's up to you, and change into this outfit. So we've tried this once so far because life do be busy, and it really helped. And another step that's really helpful is I have like a plastic tote bin with a lid that I keep her stuff in, and then when she comes and she can just have that tote and then put the clothes that she was wearing into that tote and close it up so that the smells stay in the tote until she's ready to change and go home. And then of course we just wash the stuff, and it worked really well, and we were able to hang out inside and I didn't smell her at all. I mean, I didn't like go up and sniff her or anything because that'd be a little bit weird. And also like I wasn't ready to push the limits and see if it was super effective, because honestly just any step is enough of a step that I can be grateful for it. So that's, yeah, that it opens up opportunities for being able to say this is how we can do friend hangouts. And if we ever move out into the country where I can breathe the air, then hopefully we'll have like enough space that we can dedicate to like just maybe having a bunch of random sized onesies and like a little hangout area separate from our house, so that we can like actually entertain and actually spend quality in-person time with people. It would make me feel kind of human and kind of visible. I think that'd be great. Wasn't expecting to get emotional. But here we are. So yeah, I don't really have a pattern for this because I just made it up. But yeah, I think you can find like hoodie patterns. You should be able to find like a free one on the internet because this doesn't have to be good. It just has to be a hood. Or you can even use something that you already own as a template. There's videos on how to make a pattern from existing clothes on the internet. Just, yeah, make a giant poncho and yeah, then you'll be ready for drop-in guests with a giant poncho. And then if there are people in your life that you would love to see more often, then offering them a change of clothes to keep at your house where you can control the amount of smell the clothes have. Super helpful. All right, well, we did it. We made it through May, and I look forward to seeing you and talking about some crafts soon because I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this next craft. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.